Okay, before we get into the subject of this video, we can talk about how absolutely cunty my vest is. I finally finished sewing in all of the ends of my feminism vest last night. It's got this beautiful motif that I did not design. Hang on a second. Okay, so there is this mitten pattern called the gadroon mittens. I hope I pronounced that right. I purchased that pattern so that I could use this motif. See, it's supposed to be a mitten this way around. And I used it on the back, and then I used it on the right side. And then obviously, yeah, this is 100% wool. All of the yarn was gifted to me by a friend. So you can see here, the colorways don't actually match. It was 4 different balls of wool. I believe this is Malabrigo. This and this are the same company, but I don't know the name of them. It was just a random bag of yarn that a friend gifted me. And I've been working on this. This is all done on 2s and 3s. And it took me a while. Okay, hang on. I want to put it back on real quick. Just a sec. Don't ask me what the pattern is. I tend to just make it up. I wing it as I go along. I knit a little bit and then I kind of measure and see, okay. I've just been knitting for such a long time that I typically don't use an actual pattern when knitting for myself. I also really like vests because I'm frequently cold, but they take a lot less yarn than a sweater, so they're much more economical to make. But you notice I'll often be knitting in my videos. I couldn't knit very much of this while making content because I had to pay attention, I had to follow charts. And now I'm working on something that is entirely textured. It's also on bigger needles, it's on 7s. Entirely textured. This is the button box vest, and I can knit and talk at the same time. I filmed a video last night and posted it this morning about craftivism and how important it is to resistance movements to involve arts and crafts. It's not only an incredibly important recruitment tool, it helps people bring their skills and their hobbies, their creativity, their passion to a resistance movement. Yeah, sure, there's the practical levels, right? Women knitting socks for soldiers at the front, folks baking goodies for the fundraiser bake sale, designing and selling patterns or actually like knitted garments or pieces of art in order to fundraise for a local food bank, etc., etc. All of that's really important. Those real tangible ways that bringing arts and crafts into a grassroots organizing movement is important. But that's not really actually why having arts and crafts tied, having your knitting circle, your knit in, your quilting bee, your poetry night, your music festival, etc., tied into your grassroots organizing, into your resistance movement. It's because human beings are creative, and art is so much the social glue that helps us form relationships and invest in each other. I was really thinking about how much art is produced in the name of social justice, environmental justice, and resistance movements. How going through difficult times is something that sparks creativity in us. One of the artists that I quoted in my last video said something like, in an era of chaos and destruction, it feels really good and necessary to be making something, to be creating something, to be productive and a force for good, making beautiful things like art, whether it's wearable art, whether it's just some delicious treat that you are able to bring to the local potluck. Because I think food is art, whether it is writing resistance songs, whatever it may be, how important it is for us as people to be creative in an era where those in power are hell-bent on destruction. And I actually spent a big chunk of the afternoon in bed with a really bad migraine. My second eldest kid is actually making dinner for the whole family right now because I was just really out of commission and my brain is still rebooting a little bit. But as I was laying in bed waiting for the Ubrelvy to kick in, I kept thinking about this whole concept. Why is it that freedom-loving people who care about justice and compassion, people who lean into our humanity, why is it that we make such good art? Why is it that we have this desire to produce beautiful art in the face of so much evil, in the face of so much awfulness? And so as I was coming out of the worst of the headache, I pulled up my laptop and had it in dark mode, and I was like just scrolling the internet a little bit mindlessly, right? Because I'm not quite all with it. And I stumbled upon this article. It's entitled 2 Kinds of Power, Why Fascists Can't Make Art. It's by somebody named Micah Redding. I don't know who this person is from anybody, but I really liked their article, so I wanted to share a little bit of it with you. I believe that there are 2 kinds of power in the universe. The first one is control, the ability to constrain action, and the second one is freedom, the ability to act. Just want to plug Timothy Snyder's book on freedom, by the way, if you've not read it, one of the best books I've read so far this year. These two kinds of power, control and freedom, are in deep conflict, locked together in an inverse relationship. The more control, the less freedom. The more freedom, the less control. This is because in seeking to control others, you must first control yourself. Gosh, and we could talk about how MAGA Christianity, let's just look at Mike Johnson. It's all about hyper control. They are desperate to control themselves, and the outgrowth of that is a desire or an entitlement to control other people. Anyway, okay. This is because in seeking to control others, you must first control yourself. You cannot control the outside without first engaging in a battle for control inside. And an internal battle for control has many casualties. The prisoners of that war are not quiet and not peaceful, and you must be on constant guard duty. Control can only limit, not compel. It can make sure someone has no escape, but it cannot make them move forward. It can make sure someone doesn't run away, but it cannot make someone produce an original idea. It can make someone stay, but it cannot make someone love. The same is true of internal control. Willpower can prevent you from eating ice cream, but it cannot make you create a work of art. You can probably think of counterexamples, but in those cases, you chose to act, to do something great, to move forward. No one and nothing could have compelled you, though they could have presented consequences too deep for you to want anything else. If you want to read more about the concept of obedience and control in authoritarian states, how you can be threatened with punishment, but nobody can actually make you obey. You actually can't be compelled to do something. You have to choose to do it. I recommend all three of these books, From Dictatorship to Democracy, Blueprint for Revolution, and This is an Uprising. No one and nothing could have compelled you, though they could have presented consequences too deep for you to want to do anything else. Still, you had to find the want somewhere. Even if your willpower was trying to control your hands, you had to find the drive to act in some other part of your mind. My hypothesis is that the more willpower you use, the more control you seek over your internal workings, the less freedom to act you actually possess. The long-term use of willpower slowly strangles and kills off the freedom and ability to create, which isn't to say do nothing, quite the opposite, but looking for willpower and control to make you produce great work is looking to the wrong master. It is seeking the wrong sort of power. Fascists can't make art, but they're killer at design. This is because art is creative work, while design is the application of rules. Fascists design everything from flags to uniforms to forests, while freer places struggle with unruly mixed genres and mediums. Gosh, think about how political organizing on the left is so messy, so untidy, but also fantastically diverse and creative. If you wanted to produce something great, you must be drawn, pulled forward by something which compels of its own accord. And in that case, you will find something drawn toward freedom by freedom. The freedom to act is also the freedom to live. Holocaust survivors like Viktor Frankl seemed to find incredible and unexpected ways to take action, even in the midst of unbelievable control. Even if the action was only in their mind, it was a surprising action, one neither defined nor anticipated by their environment. Jesus advised his followers to do something similar. His instructions are often misread as directions toward passivity. In reality, they are anything but. If a Roman soldier conscripts you to carry his bags, don't let him define the situation. Instead, when you come to the end of the road, keep going. Carry his bag the extra mile. Don't let his power have the last word. Instead, change the situation with your power. I think about tactical frivolity with the protests at ICE here in Portland. Or if someone sues you for the shirt off your back, go ahead and give him the rest of your clothes as well. Strip naked in court. Hand him your underwear and walk out as the court watches in shocked silence. That last instruction doesn't get quoted as much, but it captures the spirit of Jesus' teachings perfectly. When they bring control, you bring playfulness and creativity. When they exert power, you redefine the situation. Instead of fighting for control, you fight for possibility. I love this way of connecting the art that we bring, the creativity, the craftivism, with dreaming for a better future, with envisioning a better future, with hope, with possibility. And the juxtaposition between us and what MAGA wants, hyper-control, unfreedom, no creativity whatsoever, complete conformity. They want control, but we have creativity.